what's the most hilarious thing about it?
I think it's pretty morbidly funny what happens to you when you fall into a black hole. The gravity stretches you, so your feet fall towards the center of the black hole faster than your head does. And initially it kind of feels good, but then it's unrelenting and increasing, and eventually you end up snapping into two pieces, likely at the base of your spine. And like below your waist, you have important organs, but not vital organs. So you will survive that first bifurcation, and then those two pieces will split into 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and all of these parts descend to the abyss. So what's funny about that? Not much, except that's not the worst of it. You also extruded through the fabric of space, because space funnels down to a point. And so you are stretched head to toe and squeezed, much the way toothpaste comes out through a tube. And there's a word for this. It's called spaghettification. I didn't know what the single most alarming thing I could ever see with the naked eye was until I saw it. This is 1999. I'm on the Brooklyn Bridge at 2 o'clock in the morning. And Brooklyn Bridge is you're away from lights. It's still very lit, but you're away from lights. Mm-hmm. And I'm there, and I'm looking up, and I'm seeing this meteor shower. It's called the Leonid meteor shower. You see the streaks of light. They're shooting stars. Yes. It's beautiful. We're getting like 3 or 4 per minute. Mm-hmm. This is a good rate. Then I saw a new star in the sky. I said, I don't recognize that star. And it just got brighter and brighter and brighter. And then it disappeared. Then I saw a puff of smoke. And I said, whoa! So you know what just happened?
No.
It was a meteor that was headed straight towards me.
And it disintegrated.
And it disintegrated straight towards me. There was no streak.
What?
We are so accustomed to seeing streaks of light in the sky. And some of those are going to be headed straight for you. And they're not going to make a streak. They're just going to get brighter. When I realized a split second after that had happened, what I just witnessed, I freaked out. It's essentially a certainty that some molecules that passed through his kidney were in that glass that you just drank. There are more water molecules in this cup of water than there are cups of water in all the world's ocean. That's how small molecules are. So what that means is if I take this and toss it out, there's enough molecules in what I toss to enter every other possible cup of water anyone draws from the world's water supply. There's enough to scatter to every possible cup of water in the world. So if I drink this, it comes back out of my body in some way or another, any one of a half dozen ways. That re-enters the environment, goes to clouds, it goes to the streams, goes to the oceans, and given enough time, it mixes completely. So Socrates drank a glass of water. It is a certainty. It's essentially a certainty that some molecules that passed through his kidney were in that glass that you just drank. One of the most depressing things I learned, Saturn's ring system might just be temporary.
Why?
Well, because they track the orbits, and the orbits are not stable. You're losing them down into Saturn itself.
Do they anticipate when that might happen, that those rings disappear?
Well, so they suspected that it's a 10 million year or so lifespan, which would mean the dinosaurs, Saturn would not have rings for them. Tyson, the day we have wormholes, you won't need airports. Wormhole is, you're over here and you want to get here during the TV commercial. You bend space, you cut a hole through there, pop out, and there you are, and you got to cross the galaxy in seconds. I was tweeted, I was in like Charlotte Airport or somewhere where I had to go from a big plane to a little plane. It was like miles through the airport. And I tweeted, I tried to be clever. I said, gee, I can't wait till we have wormholes so that all gates will be adjacent to one another. Yeah. And then someone tweeted back, said, Dr. Tyson, the day we have wormholes, you won't need airports. Humans are one of the few mammals, maybe one of the few animals at all, comfortable just sleeping on our back. You've never seen a horse asleep on its back. Most mammals just do not sleep on their back. And we sleep at night. I'm asleep on my back at night, and then I wake up. I look it up. I look at the stars. There's the moon was here last night, but now it's there tonight. And there's other brighter ones, the planets, and they moved. You gotta be curious. You have to be. And I bet this imbued our species with a sense of curiosity for what is above our head that a beetle could never have, because a beetle's only looking down. NASA did. No. Have you ever seen off-ramps to freeways? So, off-ramps, have you noticed they have grooves in them? That's to prevent you from sliding off.
Makes sense.
If the road is a little bit slippery because it just rained or whatever. They groove the off-ramp, a curved off-ramp. Mm-hmm. So you say, who invented those grooves? That's brilliant. It's simple and brilliant. NASA did. No. Why? Because the space shuttle, which comes in for a landing, does not have engines. All right. It is a glider as it comes in for a landing, and it's got a parachute, and it's got some brakes, but it's really got, so if there's a crosswind, that's hard to fight that. So those grooves help it stay on track, because it doesn't matter how you come in, the photo at the end shows how good a steerer you are at. So some clever engineers decide if you groove it, then the shuttle can stay on course more tightly, and that was then borrowed for the freeway system.
Well, I didn't say that, but some of those,
Like the Matrix, that's what you said.
some of those codes are showing on the screen behind you right now. They don't look like codes, but these pictures, which we call deGrasse, are graphical representations of sets of equations that are based on codes. So this is, in fact, to answer your question more directly, I have in my life come to a very strange place because I never expected that the movie The Matrix might be an accurate representation of the place in which I live.
And he says, Mercury's orbit will not follow Newton, and it exactly explained the deviations of Mercury. And so people say, oh, see, scientists, we thought this was right, and now we all huddle around this thing that's right. No, the way it works is if you have an experimentally determined result, and it's verified, and double-checked and triple-checked, that will not later be shown to be false. What you can find is a deeper understanding that encloses that understanding.
What about the double slit experiment?
That experiment is widely misunderstood. This whole idea is the observer effect, where if you're not looking at it, you get one result, but if you look at it, you get another result, as though your consciousness is affecting the experiment. And consciousness right now is not a fully understood construct. Thermonuclear fusion. The sun is undergoing thermonuclear fusion in its core. The high pressures, high temperatures are squeezing together hydrogen atoms, and out the other side comes helium atoms. And the helium atom has less mass than the hydrogen atom. Where did the mass go? E equals mc squared. It became energy, and that energy is sustaining the star. Earth is moving through space at 18 miles per second, and you have no knowledge of this. We had to measure this. We had to figure this out with telescopes, with smart people, with data, with calculations. We associate motion with, hey, I can feel I'm in motion, I can feel that. The more pure motion becomes, the less you feel it.
Even though you're in the same place, yeah.
While we're sitting here, I'm here, you're running by,
Yeah.
we look up at the Andromeda at the same time,
Yep,
and we're
from the
seeing
same
something
location. Same
days,
location.
from the
Yep.
same location,
Yep.
essentially. We're seeing things days apart.
Days apart.
And
Yeah.
that leads to the idea of what is now, and your now and my now are two different
There's no
nows.
now.
There is no now.
No, there is
al-
now. There's always now.
There's an
There has
illusion
to
of
be.
now because we're so close together and we're so small. The speed of light makes it feel like we have a now, right? But now doesn't really exist on larger scales. There's no such thing.
Continental drift. This is a fascinating bit of history here. There's someone who looked at the shape of South America and the shape of Africa on a map.
Yeah.
And said, wait, that looks like it fits. But there's a whole ocean between them. But it kind of, is there a puzzle? Did these land masses once connect? Let's test this.
The north and south sides of a magnet actually different in any way outside of the attraction and repelling effects? How would you determine which side of a magnet is which? You have to determine which one is north and which one is south.
It is completely arbitrary. It's not a fundamental thing in the universe that tells this is north. That's
Right, I got you.
Now think this, remember, like poles will do what?
They repel.
Repel, and opposite poles attract.
Okay.
Okay. By definition, if you have, let's say, a bar magnet, because it'll work
Yeah,
better.
it's easier.
And you hold it with a string in the middle, and it'll turn.
Turn.
The part that points north on Earth is the north pole of the magnet.
And that's it.
What that means is, if the north pole of your magnet is pointing to the north pole of the Earth, where is the Earth's south magnetic pole? About that.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right. So the chicken is inside the egg because the outer environment can't live in that
Right.
environment. So it stays in there until it's ready. Then it pops out and it can
lead the ship.
It'll lead the ship. But I was born after the discovery that the heavy elements that populate the universe and including life on Earth, including us, derive from stars that manufactured them in the crucibles that are their cores, and then exploded, scatter that enrichment across the galaxy to enable nascent star systems to have the right ingredients to make planets, and on some planets, make.
I don't know.
That the first person to live forever is already alive. What enables that sentence to possibly be true is that get someone who's just born today. So we're working on the genome, we're isolating the aging gene, whatever that is. That newborn person, when they're 20, take this potion and they can now live to be 150. That would be a major advance on our longevity. By the time they're 40, we've improved the potion, now they can live to 300. By the time they're 60, now they can live to 500. By the time they're 80, now they can live to 1,000. By the time they're 100, they can live for 1,000,000 years. That's the notion, that we'll make incremental improvements that will continue to accrue for the person who's just born today. If you fell on the ground, writhing and frothing at the mouth, and you're doing this and you're shaking, the devil just occupied your body.
Devil, boy.
That's what the devil looks like and feels like. So, oh my gosh, the devil's there. Let me go to get the priest. So you're in a small town. How far away is the church? It's 2 blocks away. You're frothing at the mouth. Okay? So they get the priest. The priest gets the robe, the holy water, the crucifix. They go on location. They bless them, and then the symptoms go away.
Oh, now you're healed by the priest. Seizure.
And it was a seizure. It was an epileptic seizure.
Damn.
Epileptic seizure matches the time scale of you going to get a priest down the block in a small town. If you have the power of geoengineering to terraform another planet, then you have the power of geoengineering to terraform Earth back into Earth.
Is it actually hypothetically, scientifically possible to terraform Mars and create oxygen on Mars where you could step off your spaceship and go hang out in Mars?
I see no law of physics that prevents it, but what I will say is we are still running away from hurricanes. There's stuff happening on Earth that we do not control. We are victims of Earth being Earth. Now you want to completely control what's going on another planet? That's a level of geoengineering we do not yet have on Earth. If you have the power of geoengineering to terraform another planet, then you have the power of geoengineering to terraform Earth back into Earth.